Alright, ladies and gentlemen, please excuse the chaos. I know a lot of people's OCDs are going nuts, and trust me, I have one too, because I easily lose stuff right here in front of me, and it's like right in front of my face. I want to cover some things I actually left off in the video yesterday. When I talked about the capping, I found it's actually best, like I said, you go to a smaller drill hole for this and you cut your piece off, then use your grippers there, I guess forceps, hemostats, and hold it, and of course go in with it and thread it that way. You don't want to have the little piece of tube in the Dremel and thinking like, hey, this would be an easier, quicker way, because actually what will happen is you'll get this stuck in the tube, and next thing you know, or the tube grabs it, because the heat of the friction, no matter how much oil you use, will basically, boom, next thing you know, you broke off your tip, and you got to cut some of that off, and they only give you like one of one size in that pack. So you try to basically get as much use of it as you can. Me, I've bought like 3 of those things. So that is another thing. And also when you're stepping up your from your tubing, basically I cut off the edges where I cut it with a pair of snips. I'll go in on one side with it in my pin vise here, get it lined up, go in so much, stop. Try to take it out, knock out all the shavings, flip around the other side, keep going until eventually you meet up right there in the middle. And that way you're pretty much able to try to keep the widening of the hole centered. It's not going to be offset. From that there, that's pretty centered there. And let's see, now I wish I had my glasses with me, but I try not to use them that much. I think this side is maybe a little bit off center there, but I think the other side is much better on that one. Alright, why I decided to start going the extra step with the threading and everything else is because I've made some mistakes, just like breaking off the tip of my little tap there and a piece of threading. And let's see, here is one that I made without the threading, and when I, of course, applied the silver solder to it, it basically turned it into I guess a glorified serrated pin. It doesn't really move that much because I put too much pressure down on it. And then my other mess up here was trying to make one of my catastrophe pins into like a different type of rattlesnake pin or whatever, but too big of a hole. Let me tell you what, too big of a hole here. So when I added the solder and everything to it, solder went through the top of the cap and went over this bead here, and it's actually made those two solid. But this is the only one that will move now. I could probably use that as a pin. It's just, I guess I could throw it into a challenge lot just to mess with people's minds when they gut it. I might reuse that one, I don't know. I might see about trying to get some solder wick, and clean off all the solder, and see if I can actually salvage and save that one. But when I use solder, this flux, I don't really need much. I've got enough here to make probably a couple of million rattlesnake pins and still have plenty left over. So I really don't take that much, just a little bit, about yay much. And find me a volunteer for this one. We'll just use this one. Yeah, this is from yesterday, but I just put it right there around the top. Of course, when you put your soldering iron or torch, whatever means that you choose, So that Dremel solder, I love it. It's actually way better than this glorified cigarette lighter, which you see these, and I'm really wasn't too pleased with this one. You get these at the big box stores, but that Dremel one I do love. It does what I need perfectly. And then at that point, you know, you'll clip that into your Dremel, or well, the Dremel's my main lathe. I don't really use many lathes, even though I got a couple of them here. One's been kind of partially used once, the other one's still brand new in the box. But I got like a little over-the-counter pill bottle I've cut the top off of about halfway down, fill up with rubbing alcohol, and so just let it spin in the rubbing alcohol, work it back and forth, and take a toothbrush and clean off all the excess flux. Then at that point, take my razor knife, cut in between right here at the back side of the cap. So I got it off, and basically take the needle file, smooth out, make it look pretty decent, you know, smooth it out, make it look good, clean it up. Then if I want to do any serrations on the cap, I'll put it back in, which really at that point it's kind of hard to do, especially if you use a nail. Now if you use like what I've done, like with here with that through a piece of brass, you could lock it down. It'll still have some wobble, so it's a little hard to get the serrations. So before you cut your cap, you kind of want to go ahead and put them in there, and you're going to have tool marks on them, so you have to be careful. That, I guess, pretty much kind of concludes everything I could think of that I've left out of in the first video. I said I've had my learning curve. I made my mistakes, and I'm trying to make sure that people don't make those in the process like I did. You know, trying to get in too much of a hurry and get too many things done, namely breaking your tap off into your tube by being like, the Dremel, yeah. No. It's best to do it by hand. Cut off your little piece and grab a hold of it and thread it that way. And like I said, just with the drill, stepping it up, go about halfway, flip it around after you knock out all the shavings, that way so you don't have a lot of buildup. And that pretty much, you know, pretty much about it. God, I hope so, man. You know, it's hard for me to, my mind is like always going. Anyways, I think I'll end it here. I'll take care, stay safe, stay well, try to stay sane, leave the crazy stuff to me. But anyways, y'all take care, and everybody keep the hashtag bring back Starry Lock going. We got to get that guy back on the air. YouTube needs to, you know, get off their, I don't know what they're doing. They got to quit smoking that special stuff, and you know, bring the guy back on the air, man. Bring him back up. We got to get together as a lock sport community. It's a great guy, great channel. You know, get him back going again. But anyways, you know, take care. Bye-bye.